Major group that Roosevelt is going to focus on is the elderly. He's going to look for a way to get their vote by making their lives more financially secure. Every month when you turn 65, you get a check. That's called Social Security. You still do. That program is still in place. You have a Social Security card, looks a little bit like that one I just drew the arrow to. And what happens here is that it's essentially an insurance measure, and it's going to help unemployed workers, the disabled, the poor, moms with kids. It's going to help these people, and it's kind of like insurance. Think about it like car insurance. Every month, you pay so much money for car insurance. You put in a little that month, and that month, and that month, and that month, and you keep paying into it. And then, sad face, you have an accident. And all of that money that you've paid in now is paid out to you so that you can get your car repaired. Happy face. Social Security is kind of like that. All of your life, you're going to be paying in to Social Security with the Social Security tax every month. And you'll continue to use it and from the age of 65 or until you meet one of the other categories that it's available. And you'll use it until you die. So here's a way for Roosevelt to get those votes. Roosevelt's going to say, elderly people, we're going to help you out. And it's hard to remove or modify because you've been paying into it all your life for the generation that comes before you, right? When we start this program, no one's been paying into it, right? We just have a bunch of old people and we want to start the program. Well, how can we do that? And the way Roosevelt is able to work it is actually very tricky. So here's all of our old people. We'll make the old people blue. There's an old person with their little cane. Here's another old person with their walker. Okay. Now these people are going to start receiving Social Security right now in the year 1936. Well, no one's paid into it before, so how are we going to make sure that people, the elderly, have the money they need? Well, here's the people in America still working in red. And every month, they're going to pay into that insurance program. They're going to pay that tax. They're going to pay that insurance measure. And that money is going to be sent to the elderly currently alive. Now, why does that matter, you say? Because fast forward, right? Fast forward another generation. The elderly have died off, and those working people that we've seen before, those working people are now the elderly. 30 years has gone by, and those people that worked now have their walkers and their canes, and their kids are now the ones that are working. And those ones that are now working are the ones that are paying that Social Security tax that is going to the new elderly. And it goes on and on and on, just like that. Every generation paying for the generation that came before it. It's a brilliant idea because no one is going to want to see this Social Security end. No one's going to want to see it disappear because you've been paying for it all your life. Why should I not get the benefit when I've been paying for others? It's a clever idea. Unfortunately, it does not help many of the neediest Americans, at least not in the beginning, because it doesn't help farmers and household workers. This means that 65% of African Americans aren't going to support or aren't going to get Social Security. Roosevelt did this because he wants the support of those white Southerners in the New Deal coalition. So he needs their help. He doesn't want to help too many African Americans design Social Security so it doesn't help them. He gets the white Southern vote in his New Deal coalition. So there is a great example of how Roosevelt goes about creating and getting all of those votes. And when we get back in class tomorrow, we'll talk much more about some of these essential questions and how Roosevelt handles the New Deal coalition. And in particular, we'll talk about how we see the elderly and white Southerners join the New Deal coalition with Social Security, how unions and manual labor workers join the New Deal coalition or stay in it with the Wagner Act, how intellectuals join in the New Deal coalition with the WPA, and the challenges that the president faces, given that he can only do so much.